Hello, my radiant revolutionary queens. This is Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and welcome to the grand finale of this year's Bold, Unstoppable show. Now, today we are celebrating the future, and a future is what I want us to all embrace as we have our conversation with our fabulous panelists today. A future that is being shaped and led and reimagined by unstoppable women like you and I, or you and I. Our theme is the future is female, women innovators changing the world. And so from game-changing tech and science breakthroughs to soul-led social movements and business transformations, women are out here shaking some things up, shaking up systems, building legacy, and boldly stepping into spaces where we once were told we didn't belong. And boy, I've got a story behind that. But guess what? We're not just here to occupy space. Today, we're owning it and we're commanding our own empires and we're creating our own ebb and flow. So today's panel features trailblazers, creators, and visionaries who are proof that innovation doesn't always look like a lab coat or a coding boot camp. Sometimes it looks like a mama with a mission, a healer with a high-tech dream, or a founder with a fearless ideal. So what I want all of you to do is get ready to be inspired, ignited, and reminded of your brilliance, because your brilliance has the power to create a future beyond what we've ever seen. So if you're ready, before we get the show started, I want you to just sit back and relax, grab your favorite beverage, because we're going to dive in. And when I say dive in, we are going to dive in deep. So while you're getting yourself prepared, and feel free to engage in the chat, while you're getting yourself prepared, let me take care of a little business. I want to thank our sponsors of the Bold Unstoppable Show, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. Check them out. Phenomenal company if you want to elevate your wellness, your wisdom, and your wealth. So check out Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. The other sponsor I would like to thank is All Day Cable Incorporated. All Day Cable Incorporated is a telecommunications installation company that's been in business for 35 plus years now. And when I say they are a premier telecommunications installation company, they are a premier telecommunications installation company. You don't be in business for 35 years if you're not really commanding your empire and your throne. So if you're in a need and you need to have some network distribution or voice data or fiber optic cabling installed, or just really update your telecommunications infrastructure, then you want to check out All Day Cable Inc. at alldaycableinc.com. So you already know that I'm Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. But let me have my panelists share who they are and where they're from, because we're multinational. So go ahead, Leanna, start.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I very much appreciate the opportunity. I'm Leanna DeBellevue. I am the owner of DeBellevue Consulting. I help business owners get out of their own way and shine a light on any blind spots that they have within their business. Prior to that, I owned DeBellevue Global Marketing for 15 years. We are a digital marketing agency, and I actually just sold that in August of this year. So consulting is a new venture for me. Definitely been in the space for a minute, but that's me, and I'm, again, happy to be here.
And now, where are you from?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm from Queen Creek, Arizona. We're a little suburb of Phoenix.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, Leanna. Now, Sonia, tell us about you.
Well, excuse me. My name is Sonia Janice, and I'm a weight loss life coach. So I help you release the unwanted weight of debt, stress, and pounds. They're all connected. And I've been in this business for 20 years, right around there. 2 decades. I am from Ontario, Canada.
Well, welcome to the show. I love it. So is it Sonia or Sonia?
Either way. I promise
you. I have a friend that I went to high school with, and her name is spelled like that, but her name is Sonia. So if your name
it doesn't matter. It's just if somebody says it.
What does your mama call you?
Sonia.
Okay, then it's Sonia.
Yeah. But I've never corrected anybody. You see, if somebody said Sonia, it's their tone.
We're going by the correct name today because your mama didn't name you Sonia. She named you
That's
Sonia.
right.
So
That's right. That's right.
kudos, mama. I'm with you. Okay, here we go, ladies. Yes, I am a mess. Okay, so let me ask you this first question. Let's start by defining innovation. What does being an innovator mean to you? And then the second part of this question is, how did your personal journey lead you to this space? And so let's just go ahead and start with you, Leanna. What does being an innovator mean to you?
To me, being an innovator means that you're not afraid to go against the norm, right? There's all of these things that we're told that we have to do or we should do, to either be successful or to be a good wife, to be a good mom, to be a good whatever. I think an innovator is someone that challenges that and finds a way to do things that are best for not only themselves, but others around them. So
I love it. Love it. What about you, Sonia? What is
Well, I want to piggyback off that. I want to agree completely. We are stepping outside of the traditional, but the big difference is, we're expressing our creativity in a way that helps others grow. That's how I would describe being an innovator. It's not just, doing something for doing something, but it's to help others grow in their creativity, their confidence, their life. Oh, I'm getting excited. I'm jumping off my chair.
I like that. It's to help others grow. I think for me, innovator means disrupting the norm. Because most innovators are visionary and they think outside of the scope of what we see right in front of us. And so those innovators, they're disrupting the norm. That's why we have ChatGPT and a bunch of AI stuff, because someone back in the day probably watched Star Wars back in 1970s. The first Star Wars back in 1970s, and was like, okay, if someone is thinking of this, it's already happening.
Okay, so I want to expand on that too.
Yeah,
if that's all right. If we're given, we're all entrepreneurs here, but if we're given a dream and we just can't shake it, no matter what we're going through, it's a calling. And that calling, we are meant to jump forward with, even if it's not coming to fruition yet in the way that we want. It's almost like we know that star is meant for us and we can just go and grab it.
Right. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. I love the conversation because, again, as we have this conversation, we're going to be disrupting some of the norms. And a lot of people just kind of go ebb and flow and they stay in the lines. Well, I'm not the girl that stays in the lines. I'm the girl that color outside the lines. I don't see black and white. I see colors. I don't see circles. I see multiple shapes. And so as an innovator and someone that is a disruptor to the norm, definitely was that girl, didn't color inside the line because that was just too restrictive and too normal. But it's our voices here that allow other people's to, one, understand that voice that's talking to them, like you said, Sonia, and two, to know that it's okay not to be like everybody else. You can be an innovator, you can be a disruptor, you can follow your own trail and you can blaze that trail. And who really gives a damn what anybody thinks, as long as you're doing what you feel you need to do that fulfills your life and brings you joy. So we have to take a real quick commercial break, but we'll be right back to the Blissful Living Podcast in just a few moments. I'm sorry, the Bold Unstoppable Show in just a few minutes. I forgot where I was today. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the show and share it with everyone you know. We'll be right back. All righty, this is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and we're back on the Bold Unstoppable Show. I have Leanna and Sonia with me, and we're talking about defining innovation. What does being an innovator mean to you and to those that you love and care about? Because our future female essence is changing as the world is changing. And if we are caught behind the 8 ball, and we're not innovative and we're not stepping into our greatness, we will get left behind. So my next question for you ladies is this. Was there a moment when you realized you were doing something no one around you had ever done before? That's the first part of the question. Sonia, why don't you take that for me?
Honestly, when I started off as a fitness trainer, when I moved back to my hometown and I started off as a fitness trainer, and I built I built it so big that I needed to go from studio to studio to studio, and like the sizes, and nobody around me even knew that concept. I mean, I had two parents that worked, not corporate, blue collar maybe. It was just completely different. And then when I wrote books, and they're like, what? Like, it's almost like it doesn't phase them but yet you're speaking to another entrepreneur and they're like, what? So I think that's the interesting part, is realizing that the closest people to you may not have a clue, right? And
Right.
then you're pushing past that. You're not letting that stop you when you're an innovator. You just push forward anyway.
Yeah, I love it. What about you, Leanna?
Yeah, I think honestly, when I started my business, I was so naive as to what business ownership meant. I just knew that I wanted to do the thing that I wanted to do, which was to help other people get noticed online. And I just kind of dove in, and I didn't really do the research to figure out how hard it was supposed to be, right? So I started doing all of these things that other business owners were stopping me, and they're like, wow, how are you doing this? Like, this just doesn't happen this way. And I didn't even know. Like, honestly, it was ignorance is bliss. It was my motto for that period of time in my life, right? I went from 0 to 6 figures in about 3 months. I didn't know that was a thing. I was just doing all of these things that I was just trying, right? Like, I didn't know. And to have other people who I really admired and had great respect for call me out and say, you're doing stuff that other people, this is not normal. This is not standard. Like, what are you doing different? It was in that what are you doing different question that I realized that maybe I was creating something that hadn't been done. In our industry, we are a very male dominated industry. Marketing has always been. And I think I just kind of came in with a fresh perspective. But yeah, it wasn't until others told me that I was doing it different that I had a clue that, maybe I was doing something in a new way.
I like that because I think sometimes just diving in and then figuring out how to swim is the best way. If you take all the courses and you look at all the books and you read all the manuals and then you do it, well, yeah, you still can be successful. But when you go in blindly, and I want to say almost as if you're a newborn, exploring everything is new and you're exploring it, it really becomes eye-opening. And then years later, you look back and you're like, why did I do that? How was I doing it? How was I successful? I wasn't even following the rule book. People had rule books that you needed to follow. And here I am just doing it. And they're looking at me like, look at this girl. She's disrupting our industry. And she's not following any of the rules that's set forth. What is she doing? And shame on her, and all of that. So I think really, truly being an innovator is, again, I don't know, the word that keeps coming up is being a disruptor, not following the norm. And I bet the both of you were those little girls that did not really follow the rules like all the other little girls were doing.
Okay, what comes to mind when you say that is how I led the pack, and without realizing, like looking back with I know I'm going to age myself here, but with the neon colors and the fashion, without realizing it, it was kind of like, oh, now everybody's wearing neon. Again, it was looking back where I realized, and I had friends tell me that they did it because I did it. And I had no idea. So what kind of impact we were making at such a small age. And we just took off from that.
Isn't that
I am
interesting?
adapting. I normally don't wear headphones, but my earbuds don't work
for
a long period of time. So I'm fidgeting, and I'm not
really
really a fidgeter.
No worries. No worries. I think for me, I definitely was a trendsetter, but I wasn't setting out to be a trendsetter. I was just the type of little girl that you couldn't box me in. Yeah, I like to play with my Barbies and my dolls, but I also, like to play baseball and football and ride motorcycles and do all the stuff the boys did. And one of the reasons is because I'm the only granddaughter in my generation of grandchildren on both sides of the family. So I had a lot of boys to play with. And if you didn't play with the boys, you were playing by yourself. And so there were things that I did that I was just doing because I liked playing with my friends. I had no idea that I was being a trendsetter or innovator, and I'll share more a little later about the story, but I just was doing things because I wanted to play with my friends, which just happened to be mostly boys. And so sometimes in the context of us being that trailblazer, we're just doing it because we're doing it. We don't set any rules. We don't have a game plan. We're just doing it because we're doing it and we like it. And then later people ask us, then how did you get from here to here? And you're like, oh, I don't know, really. Tell us your formula. Well, I really don't have a formula. I just did what I wanted to do. And if I broke the rules, it was okay. And so that's what it's all about, ladies. It's, really following your own vibe. And if you got to break the rules to be that woman innovator that's leading change in the world, well, doggone it, you have to do it. There's so many women that have done it before us, and there's going to be, and we're women that are doing it now. And there's going to be women doing it after us. But I think what we need to do is set the okay with our future female generations to let them know it's okay if you break the rules and don't follow the trend, because in essence, you are your own trailblazer and you're blazing your own trail. And somewhere down the line, people will begin to follow you on your trail. So my next question is, how did you, with regards to doing what you did with your businesses and just going out and doing it, how did you navigate the excitement? And did you have any fear of that excitement as it was springing forth in your life? Whoever wants to answer first, go ahead.
I'll jump in. I think, honestly, I learned.
Uh-oh.
Are you there?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Here.
Okay.
Everything went black for a second.
Oh,
sorry.
No, it's okay.
But everything, I was so excited, but I learned very quickly, you have to be careful who you share that excitement with. And you have to be careful of who you let in that inner circle. I think, like Sonia, I didn't come from entrepreneurial family. And I think sometimes the people who love you most want to keep you safe. And that safety looks like a stable job, a pension, a whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. A government job, yeah.
Yes, right? And that just was never me. And so I would be super excited about something. And not gonna lie, there was a lot of risk involved. And every time they would see that risk and I'd have that excitement about it, I realized I would come away feeling deflated. And then I learned I had to protect my energy and my space very quickly. So absolutely, I have that excitement. I'm just very careful with who I share it with. Even now, starting over, you have to be careful.
Yeah, I love it. We got to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back to the Bold Unstoppable show in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Sorry about that. It just that it just all went black and came back.
All right, welcome back to the Bold Unstoppable show. We are having a wonderful conversation. And before we took the break, Leanna was discussing that sometimes she would share things and she would have enthusiasm and excitement. And, lesson learned is you got to be careful with who you share, what you share, because people with a closed mind will not be at your level to be able to understand what the excitement is. I mean, I know when I started my first business, I'm the first person in my family to have a business. And of course, I'm the girl. So I didn't share a whole lot. We just kind of did the business. And then once we started having success, then, everybody had their hands out. But each part of those steps of success, I'm the type of person who I don't share anything until it comes to fruition, because in the past, I've had that experience like you, Leanna, where when I was growing up, I would share stuff and be really excited. And then someone would just try to squash my bubble, which made me even more tenacious to make that bubble as big as possible. So I totally get it. You can't share everything with everyone. You have to be very cautious. And that, again, is part of being an innovator, a woman that understands that your innovation is not going to be received by everyone, especially those that are closest to you and that you love and care about and that love and care about you. It's a very interesting didactic. Now, my next question is this, and it's in regards to innovation, which often requires courage. What fears or resistance did you have to overcome to bring your vision to life? And what kept you going? So Sonia, why don't you take that question?
Yeah. Well, what kept me going was showing up. I'm going to start right there. Even if I did the smallest amount of work daily, showing up. That's where the magic is. And where I had to have courage is I wasn't the smallest girl in the room when I started training. So people actually really loved that because I was able to get them comfortable and reshape their bodies and fall in love with themselves. Now, I've taken that to the new dynamics where I do a lot more mindfulness and NLP work now, and I do a lot less training. But that courage to show up as you are in a room full of other women who think people are looking at you. And you know, I want to follow up to what you had said. I wish I was the type of person not to share everything all the time. But, you know, I'm a Sagittarius rising in a Leo sun, and I just can't stop my excitement. But people love that about me. So the only person that gets hurt is me over and over again, because it's the level of disappointment that comes in.
Right.
But again, you got to show up anyways. If you need to change paths, if you need to pick things up, if you need to switch gears, Leanna, like what you're doing, there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is when we quit. When we quit altogether, we're showing a message that, yeah, no, I'm throwing in the towel no matter what's thrown my way. But when we truly believe that we are exactly where we're meant to be and we're here for a reason, and again, if we can't shake away that calling, we need to show up. And courage every day of my life. I don't know if you guys know this, but I go live every day. And the first time I started doing that, a lot of courage, a lot of courage, a lot of courage. Yeah.
Well, that's again part of being an innovator, you know. Right? You got to show up. There's fear, there's happiness, there's excitement, there's enthusiasm, there's the pits of despair, you know, wondering about disaster and all of that kind of stuff. But I think what separates us from the rest is that no matter what, fear, excitement, disappointment, despair, we show up anyways. Yeah. And so one of the messages you all should be taking is it doesn't matter if you show up anyways. If you get 25,000 things done or you just get one thing done, it's still pushing forward to accomplish what you want to do in your life. And that is the true message that I want to share to all the young ladies that might be listening to us and watching us right now. Show up anyways. Do one thing, do 1,000 things, but do something, because the more you show up, the easier it is to work through those fears, to work through that resistance, to work through those naysayers that want to see you fail, and to work through those naysayers that they're secretly, silently, they look like they're cheerleaders, but they're backstabbing you in the back because they don't want to see you succeed. So
or how about the ones that are silently watching you, like stalking you, but they're picking up everything that you're throwing down and you have no clue. Like they're literally following you. And it's so heartwarming when you do find out, kind of like that neon trend, like when you find out, right?
Yeah, but it is. It's amazing. But it's in those moments that you realize that you're standing in your greatness. And when you're standing in your greatness, you're able to be the best innovator that's possible for you. Now, I want to ask this quick question, and then we'll come. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back. With regards to staying creative and curious and open to bold ideals, especially in industries that are male-dominated or slow to change, what are some suggestions that you would offer to those that are watching and listening to us that might be actually helpful and useful to help them get over the hump? We're going to take those answers when we come back from our break. And again, if you have not subscribed to the show, subscribe to the show and share it with everyone you know. Ladies, it's time for us to come together and support each other so that we can make the world a better place. We'll be right back to the Bold Unstoppable Show in just a few moments. Stay tuned. All righty, welcome back to the Bold Unstoppable Show. It's Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, and I'm with Sonia and Leanna. And so before we went to break, I wanted to ask this question with regards to how does these ladies stay creative, curious, and open to bold ideals, especially in industries that are male-dominated or slow to change. And so, Leanna, let's have you take that question first.
Yeah, I looked at a lot of our processes in our systems, and I looked at what didn't feel good. What system did everyone say that you have to do that just was either slowing us down or was just causing some type of friction, right? Anytime you see friction, I think that there's room for growth and opportunity for change and innovation. So anytime our team would come and say, hey, this isn't working, or I'm really struggling to get this done, it was an area, that we could dive into. And I had a really big team approach. Here's the problem. Tell me every potential solution. Think as crazy as you can get, as logical, like nothing is off the table, and let's figure this out together. I think some of our biggest innovations within the company came from those off the wall, crazy ideas. This is never going to work. And then you go, okay, there's something to this. How do we make it work? How do we figure out how to put this in and make it ours, right? And when we did that, that's when we made the most amazing progress. And that's when everyone started saying, like, how are you doing this? What are you doing different? Like, nobody else is getting these kind of results. It's because we really did think about the craziest things we could come up with.
I love it. I love that. It's thinking outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
It really is thinking outside the box, and then, brainstorming all those crazy ideas that seem out of the box. It might seem illogical when you're just, doing the Post-its all over the place. And then all of a sudden there's a theme that comes, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. We may actually be able to do this. For me, it was like, hey, maybe I might actually be able to be successful as a woman in a male dominated industry and get success based on the goodness of what my company does, the work that we do, not how cute and sexy I look. You know what I mean? And so it's going, because, we all have experienced that. If you've done any work in a male dominated industry, you get hit on even when they're not trying to think that they're hitting on you, but they are. And it's overcoming that to get your point across that I'm a bona fide business person. This is what I bring to the table. And you can either work with me, or I can move to another male dominated company that's going to work with me. But no matter what, this is business. And this is how we innovators roll. And so, yeah, we're not holding it back tonight. We are cutting through the chase, and we're giving the goods. Now, I want to ask this question, and Sonia, we'll have you take this one. What support systems, mentors, or community practices have helped you sustain your innovative journey as an entrepreneur, particularly in the fitness arena?
Well, and it's going to actually blend with what Leanna had said. Well, no, with your previous question a little bit as well. And I actually take time to be creative outside of work. So my personal training stopped about 5 years ago when COVID, right? So everything shifted from there. But where that took me is to paint. It took me to aquafit. It took me away where I can engage with other people, females, older females with tattoos in the pool, just saying. Just in case you wanted to know what tattoos look like on a 70 or 80-year-old, I can tell you. But it's fun. We're singing and dancing in the pool. Your brain is getting a release, and you're getting that happiness and joy. And if you're sitting in the hot tub, you're having conversations with people, men, women, whatever, and you're stopping that world that you're normally in. Same thing with painting. And I've never painted before, and there's a art emporium that wants some of my paintings now, and it's epic, right? So it's not all about work, and that's kind of my point I want to address. That's where the creativity comes in. That's where, like you said, I was in the fitness. I had to keep my fitness programs creative.
Right.
And they were very creative. They were fun. And that's, people showed up. You don't pay $80 for a boutique fitness class when you can go to the Y for a third of that price.
Right.
Unless it's fun and engaging and they're learning a lot more. So I think you just have to own who you are and not be afraid to do that.
I love that.
I mean, the name of my one book is called Your Story Matters. And that's what this is all about, is knowing who you are and showing up.
I love that. Owning and knowing who you are without any apologies is what I would
Yeah.
add to that.
Yes.
Don't be
Oh,
apologetic
I'm
for
getting
who
excited
you
again. Better.
are.
Better sit on my hands.
It's like, don't be apologetic for who you are. Don't be apologetic if you don't go with the norm. Don't be apologetic if you choose to do something in a male dominated industry and all your friends are just doing stuff that girls like to do. Don't be apologetic for being that innovator, because our innovators throughout the history of the world, whether they're female or male, but we're just stick with females, they are game changers, and they've created things that have helped change the way we see and ebb and flow in the world. And
I want
so,
to add something to that. All three, well, so far, one of my daughters can drive a standard, and she is the most creative, innovative girl.
oh, see that? I mean, that's the kind of car I learned
I
how
mean,
to
I
drive.
taught, she knows, she learned it from me. But again, if you think of it, there's a connection, right? We're not afraid to own it.
Right, exactly. And that's really what this is all about. Don't be afraid to own your who you are. If you're innovative, if you're not following the norm, if you're that gal that just, knows what you want to do, and you've got something in you that you're here to change the world, don't apologize for being you, and don't apologize for doing it. Just go out and do it, and be that game-changing woman that changes the world to make the world a better place. We have time for one more question. So I guess I'm gonna do two. If you ladies can just answer in 30 seconds or less, it'd be great. So the first question is, what advice would you give to a woman with a big ideal but no clear roadmap on how to bring it into the world? Leanna, what advice would you give to a woman with a big ideal?
Just start and don't be afraid to fail. You want to fail as fast as you can. The faster you start things, the faster you fail, the faster you figure out what the right path is.
I love it. What about you, Sonia?
Fill your inbox with newsletters from people that you envy.
Okay,
So
nice.
that way there you're seeing what they're doing, and you can find what works for you. Like, you're getting ideas.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so now this is the last question of the evening. What does the phrase, the future is female, means to you personally? And what kind of future are you creating for the next generation of women? I'll start with you, Sonia, 30 seconds or less. Tell us
Hope.
what
Hope.
does that phrase mean to you?
Hope. It was the only word that came to mind, and it's hope for everything the divine feminine can bring to the table. Because we are so used to a divine masculine world, and women are sinking. And that's why.
I love it. And I don't know if it's a divine masculine world. I just see it as the masculine world, divide and conquer. That's the way
But I mean, the softness, the lovey,
yes,
the different.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm just stirring the pot.
I know, but I can talk. So.
Leanna, what about you? What does the future female mean to you personally? And what kind of future are you creating for the next generation of women?
Yeah, I think it feels heavy in a positive way. I think that it's a lot of responsibility on us currently to look to that next generation and to make sure that you are always offering a hand up, right? And always helping them navigate, because it is very difficult, especially in a male-dominated world, right? So I think I feel very responsible. And again, that heaviness is a positive, right? But it's not something I can shake. It's something that I think it's all of our responsibilities. Turn around. Who needs your help? Who needs your hand? Right. So.
Oh, love it. I love it. So for me, the future is female means that we women come together in synchronicity and harmony, and we support each other where we are, no matter where we are, but it's supporting the female gender to elevate what we're here to do in the world. There are so many wonderful things that women can do that men can't do. And when we come together, we're so much more powerful. But sometimes the males try to invade our space, and they do it by dividing. And when they divide, they have actually conquered and created chaos within the female gender sector. So for me, it's really standing and supporting women where they are. You don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to live the same life. but the essence of supporting a female who's doing something to make the world a better place should not be a question in any woman's mind. The next thing is, for me, is my mission is, again, to bring women around the world together, because when we come together, we're so much more powerful than men ever want to F with. Just gonna put it out there. They don't want to F with it. It's like you got millions of women on their period and woo, you don't want to mess with us, right? Not then, not ever, but coming together. And so for me, one of the things I've done is I have a private charitable organization that I created called 1 Million Girls. And it's to be able to support 1 million girls around the world to go to four-year university and colleges via grants and scholarships, because there are so many young ladies out there that are brilliant, but they don't get the opportunity to go to college for whatever reason. Finances, having to stay home to take care of family, don't have access to things. And so I want to eliminate those barriers, because you never know who in our future female generations that we're educating and allow them to stand in their greatness, that's going to be that queen to change the world, to make it an absolutely more beautiful and better place. So that's what I'm creating for the future generation of next women, future generation of the next generation of future women. I have a daughter, and I think if I have my kids, if they have kids and I never get to meet my grandchildren or my great grandchildren, what is something that I want to leave as a legacy to them, for them, that they can continue on? And that is my private charitable organization, 1 Million Girls. So ladies, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's been a phenomenal conversation. I know that those that have listened to us have at least come away with some words of wisdom, some je ne sais quoi. We lit some fire under some asses. I'm just going to say it. And if we didn't and you weren't paying attention, because your booty should be burning a little bit. It should be a little hot right now, right? But it's a beautiful platform to be able to have a show like this, where we women come together and we talk about the issues that we women face in today's society. And not every woman experiences the same thing, but the same essence of what we go through, but we all have an experience that we can share to help others coming up behind us and those that might be ahead of us. It's just collectively coming together as women to support women so that we be the change agents to make the world a better place. Thank you, Sonia, and thank you, Leanna. And I want to say, what a finale, queens. If you ever needed proof that the future is bright and undeniably female, well, you got it today. We heard from two beautiful, bold women who are not only imagining the world to be a better place, but also are creating it within their own dynamics and in their own space. Innovators who create whatever has or what never has been done before, challenging what always has been accepted, and challenging what is not acceptable, and lighting the way for our future generations. We become powerful. And here's the truth: innovation doesn't require permission. It requires vision, courage, and the willingness to be the first. When I think of the person that does that, I think of Harriet Tubman. I think of Queen Nefertiti. I think of Queen Elizabeth. I think of all the fabulous women that said, damn it, I am not going to fall in line. I'm going to do something to make it just a little bit easier for women coming behind me, so that we can lead with grace, peace, positivity, and support one another. Even if your voice shakes, even if you have to walk alone, it's better to walk forward than to walk behind someone, or particularly a man, that is not supportive of what you're doing. So to my trailblazing panelists, thank you for showing us that being an innovator isn't just about having all the answers. It's about having the heart to ask the hard questions, to dig down deep when you know you really can't see the end of where you're going, but you know there is an end that's absolutely beautiful, and the fire to follow your calling. And to all you beautiful viewers, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the show, share the show with every woman you know, and don't ever, never underestimate your brilliance, whether your innovation is a business, a book, a product, or a movement. The world needs what's inside of you, and we need it today, my sisters and my queens. Don't wait for a sign. And if you are waiting for a sign, this is your sign with us three ladies today on the last show of this year. I am Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, your queen of feeling fabulous. And this has been the season of the Bold Unstoppable show for this particular year. Until next year, stay visionary, stay vibrant, and remember, the future isn't just about female. The future is about you. Until next time, goodbye for now.